Aden Valencia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
We're gonna jump straight into a match breakdown,
Sounds good.
and this is where you beat a former NCAA champion.
Yeah, 2-time NCAA champ Seth Gross. Good opponent. Yeah,
Cool.
I wrestled him actually, like 3 or 4 months before this, and he kind of beat me up a little bit. So this was a get back.
Okay,
So yeah.
cool, man.
All right.
Let's jump into it.
Sounds good.
Real quick, pause.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind before a match like this?
You know, a guy like this, for me, I just got to be really relaxed and just know that, when you're wrestling these guys that are a lot older, they have a little bit more experience, but you kind of have that, young buck mentality where I come in and I'm like, I'm trying to take them out. Really just staying composed and just kind of like that killer mindset, this is an older guy, I can gas him out, can use my speed, I can use my agility and kind of like, my young savviness to get the job done. So that's kind of what's running through my mind here. But mostly just kind of focus and worrying about myself and my own attacks and stuff.
What's the age discrepancy here?
He's close to 30. I'm
shit.
just turned 18. So
Okay.
yeah. So pretty good age difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you find a big difference in the physicality between wrestlers based on their age?
I think one of my greatest attributes is my strength. That takes me really far. So I would say when you're wrestling guys at that age, the power and physicality is usually a problem. But for me, I don't really run into that issue. And I think that's what makes such a big difference at this level is that I'm able to deal with a lot of that strength and physicality, and it takes me a long way. So
Got it.
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Hit play.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yep.
So here, kind of whistle blows. I'm just kind of feeling them out a little bit. It's been a few months since I wrestled them. This is actually a higher weight class. I wrestled them at 61 kilos, and this is 65. So just kind of feeling them out.
Do you normally wrestle up? Like, was this a more uncommon thing for you to do?
Yeah. So Olympic year. I'm actually gonna pause this right now. So this was just a cool little move. He goes 2-on-1. This is usually a position he likes to be in. But I was working here a lot because obviously I know that this is some place I'm gonna end up. So this is called a Merkle, and I kind of just overhook this foot. I don't remember if we score here, but I think I just kind of trap that back leg, kind of hold position.
Do we back it up and see that again?
Yeah.
I think you can also use the arrow.
Yeah.
You might be able to.
Let's go. Right here, he goes 2-on-1, and I just kind of hook that leg
Okay.
and sink back. And I'm just kind of hooked around the leg with my arm and my leg stepping around. I think we end up stalemate. Yeah, we end up stalemating here. Oh, ads.
And then so while this is running,
Back to that
what are
question.
the stakes here? What is this tournament for?
This is it's called the Senior Nationals.
Okay.
So it's Olympic year right now. So you have to, there's qualifications to get to the Olympic trials.
Mm-hmm.
And for this you had to place top 5 in order to secure your spot at the Olympic trials. So I ended up taking 7th. So a few weeks from now I have to go qualify and give myself a shot at making a team.
Okay.
So those are the stakes here. This was the first match of the tournament. So
Got it.
big first match. Here, I'll rewind a little bit. Oh, another ad.
That's okay.
Is this Flow Wrestling?
This is just YouTube.
No, but the channel.
Oh,
our
yeah,
channel,
it's
yeah.
Flow.
Oh, that's
probably why.
Mhm.
And so, how does it work for the non-wrestlers like me? So this is a what organization is this match under? This
Just
particular-
USA Wrestling?
It would be I think it would be
Okay.
Flow Wrestling. So there's
No, like what's the governing body?
yeah, USA Wrestling.
Okay.
USA Wrestling.
Got it. Okay, and then that's why this would be for you to secure a spot for the Olympic trials,
Yeah.
because it's the same
Yeah.
organization.
Got it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so here, just, quick takedown, kind of grab the leg, pull myself in. This guy's very well known for being like a crazy scrambler. Scrambling is where like, you get in on some kind of attack, and they're good at just defending and kind of catching your ankles and basically preventing you from scoring like he is here. So certain attack, you want to hit certain attacks that kind of prevent them from doing that. So anytime I'm grabbing both legs at the same time, makes it harder for them to drape over and catch those ankles. Here I went single attack, and now we're in kind of a scramble here. But I end up scoring here. Freestyle, they expose 90 degrees. You get 2. So there he exposed. I got 2 points.
When you say expose 90 degrees,
it's like if they tilt their back 90 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're playing sort of a game of negating what he's trying to do while also trying to.
Yep. Yeah.
Was he surprising you at all at this point, or did he feel like he did in the previous match?
The previous match I wrestled him, was he's just a weird guy to put hands on, just the way he moves and stuff. And I'm sure that's something in jiu-jitsu, you just feel a guy that's just kind of quirky in the way that he moves. And this is like one of those guys. So he's one of those people that you just kind of need to get a feel for the first time that you wrestle him. And then after that, you kind of figure him out a little bit. And that's what I was doing here.
how much film do you watch before you go into matches like this?
I try not to watch too much, so I'm not focusing too much on what they're doing.
Right.
But just enough to kind of, know what I'm supposed to look out for or what positions I shouldn't be in.
Right.
Like, for example, on this guy, right here, this is probably not a great position I want to be in extended on a leg like that. He ends up scoring here, I think. So, just enough film to kind of know where I'm safe and where I'm not.
Okay.
Is that because it can get in your head? Like,
Yeah, like, you don't want to focus too much on your opponent. You want to focus on yourself as much as possible. But, the film is really just to know, what to look out for, right? Like, if I know a guy's got the best blast double in the world, which is, when you shoot 2 legs, maybe I'm not giving him as much space, right? Maybe I'm tying up his head a little bit more. Or if I know he's got, a really good duck under, maybe I'm not draping over him and, letting him control my elbows or whatever. So here, freestyle, it's a 3-minute period, and they give you a 30-second rest. They dry you off, and then you come back for another 3 minutes.
And what are you thinking right now? Are your coaches talking to you? Like, what's happening at this?
Yeah, so right now, we're up 4-2, so just kind of being smart with the match. This is the first match of the tournament, usually off a weight cut. Wrestlers cut quite a bit of weight, so I was feeling it a little bit, but I knew that, if I'm feeling it, he's probably feeling it more, considering he's a little bit older than me. So right here, I'm thinking, let's just, stay smart, kind of press the pace, and the points will come. Here we end up in kind of like a 50-50 position.
So you're really focusing on wearing him out. Is that one of your main?
That's one of my main attributes, kind of using my strength and my tank to my abilities. They go hand in hand. You wrestle a strong guy, he's pulling on your head, pulling on your body, and you're just going to get more tired.
Right.
And so me just kind of, continuing to press that pace.
Can you feel him starting to wear down?
Yeah, you can feel, their hands are a little bit, they're not as heavy. You can hear it in their breathing. You can see it when one of the biggest indicators is the way they walk back to center. You end up stalemate. You have a guy that's like, a big one is they'll sit and they'll pull up their knee pad or they'll pull up their socks, and you're like, yep, he needs that extra split second to kind of get himself reset. And so in that those moments, I get back to center. And I'll turn and I'll face them so I can kind of stare them down as they're doing that.
We saw that.
Yeah.
Right before you came over, we were watching another match.
Mm-hmm.
You can pause it here. We were watching another match, and I was telling Josh, I'm like, just look at the killer in this kid.
Yeah.
Like every time they reset him, he's back to center. He's like ready to go. He's looking straight down the barrel. And it's very obvious that you pay attention to that.
Yeah.
That part of the match.
Yep. And, going back to the stakes, these guys have everything to lose and I don't, right? I'm the young guy coming in. Nobody expects me to win. Nobody expects me to do too much. These guys have a lot of weight on their shoulders. They're seeing me get these big wins, and then they're like, oh, I got to beat this high schooler. He's a high schooler. And, I use that to my advantage. I'm running back to center. They're feeling tired. They're feeling the anxiety. And then they see this guy run back to center, and he's just ready to go. And they're like, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want any of that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's the game within the game.
It's
right?
the game within the game. It's all, there's a lot of psychology to these sports, right?
Yeah.
Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, combat sports, a lot of psychology. So
I noticed one thing before we get back into
Yeah.
this is you're going after his left leg quite a bit. Is that on purpose? Is there something that you see there? Is there something that you saw when watching video?
that's my main
That's your
attack.
style.
I like hitting the right. I'm a
Okay.
right leg lead, so
Okay.
I'm shooting to mostly their left leg. Honestly, in this match, that attack probably wasn't the best thing to hit on him, considering the way he scrambles. But it's what I feel comfortable with, and I was confident in that.
Okay.
We were working a lot. One of my main coaches that I worked with previously, he's a great scrambler, and so we were working on a lot of, finishing from that leg, even on a guy that's, kind of funky and dangerous from there.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt good there, and I was still scoring on that leg a lot. So
When quick question on so in like coming from jiu-jitsu, like
Yeah.
when we talk about the term scramble, we're talking about sort of these uncontrolled, just like
yeah,
people trying to get out of something and get to
Yeah.
a better position. Is that the same thing in wrestling?
it's the same thing. It's like we end up in like some flurry, and I'm trying to figure out either how to get out of something or how to set something up, and it's just kind of like you're kind of figuring out how to score points from a certain position. It's maybe like both guys are in a weird position where it's like trying to figure out how to recover from there.
Right.
So it's whether I'm scoring points, stalemating, which is kind of like pausing out and restarting,
Okay.
or not giving anything up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and press.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
keep
hit
going.
it.
Yeah.
So here, this was a little something slick that I did. I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, that was cool.
So, is there a way to slow this down?
Unfortunately not.
No.
I think there is. Yeah, you can
You
go
can
to the
go-
like
oh,
little
uh,
cog wheel at the bottom right hand
Yeah,
corner.
hit settings.
Yeah, and then go to
Playback speed.
Playback speed. Yeah, and you can go probably
0.5 or
go-
0.25.
0.5. Yeah, that.
Yeah. So here, this was going back to that. We call it a 2-on-1, where they grab both wrists and they're up in their armpit,
Mhm.
and he likes to be there. He's really good from there. He'll kind of slip his leg in, try to get behind, and then roll you through from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I felt that position. I'm going to press play here. I felt him going there to that 2-on-1, kind of gave myself a little bit of space by posting.
Mm-hmm.
And when I felt him start to hook that leg, I kind of just slipped out of it, reached around, and then I caught that ankle right there. That's 2. So,
you timed that as
I
he was coming
yeah,
in.
yeah.
That's cool.
and that was a kind of a big turning point, because that's me taking his main move out of the equation, right?
So how much of that is you see that in video? How much of that is experience against him previously?
A lot of it's just a feel thing,
Okay.
just kind of feeling it coming and knowing that I got to kind of slip out. Sometimes in this sport, you just kind of like, you'll feel something and you'll instinctively react to it based on experience and what you feel. And that was one of those scenarios. They call them no name takedowns, which is, it's just like I find something in the match and I find a way to score, and it might not have a name, it might not be a move, but it's just like feeling that out and figuring out how to react to it based on experience.
Right.
So
was that the same? Because you mentioned, I think at the beginning, that he had that 2-on-1 also.
Mm-hmm.
Did he go for that same? I can't remember what we saw at the beginning of the
he
match.
did, yeah. He
went
tried.
for
That's
that same.
where he likes to be. He tries to hook around. So that's why I was using my arm to hook around the leg, because he's trying to get under both
I see.
armpits and extend me with the leg in, and then they usually roll from there. So I had that leg hooked up over top, which is where he likes to be, but I also had my arm hooked around it so that he couldn't extend me out there and he couldn't roll me through.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you scored here.
Yeah, I scored. So we're up 6-2 here. A minute and a half left. Here I'm working. This is a wrestling armbar.
Yeah, it
Throw
looks.
behind the back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the terminology is funny sometimes in jiu-jitsu. We, I think another one that has different meaning is like gator roll.
Gator roll.
In jiu-jitsu, that's
Yeah.
completely different thing than
Mm-hmm. So there he shoots a shot, kind of just end up on top. I hook that leg in right there. That's 2. So now we're up 8-2.
So the hook there is 2 points.
Yep. And here, this is just a little funky move that I felt. He was trying to grab and roll with me, but I kind of just cartwheeled through.
Was that a berimbolo?
There was a little bit of berimbolo there, man.
Let me see.
So right here, he's trying to
right.
keep that arm and roll through with me, and if he rolled me through, then he would get his too.
Yeah.
But I kind of just pivoted off my head here, and I was able to cartwheel through right there. So then they gave me the 2 because he exposed his back and I didn't.
Yeah.
So now we're up 10-2. He builds up. I just kind of catch that arm, run over. That's another 2 points. That's match over. You win by 10. That's
Okay.
They call it technical fall. Match is over.
Okay. Okay, so that's even a little different than what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
It's not just a win on points. It's like a mercy rule.
It's like a mercy rule. Yeah, it's like a mercy rule. Match ends after a certain amount of points.
Do you think? Do you like that idea of having that rule?
I do. I think to be honest, it kind of sucks to go on for another 6 minutes when you're already beating somebody by a certain amount of points. It kind of holds them accountable. It's like you give up so many points, you don't get another shot. Like that's it.
Okay.
So I think that's a pretty cool rule.
Damn.
Yeah, we see I've seen some jiu-jitsu matches where people will just get smoked like 60 to like some absurd amount of points. Like, have they always had this rule? This tech rule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially with the bottom position in freestyle, it's called parterre, and that's where it really holds you accountable. Is you might give up a takedown, and people just transition really well. They lock up your legs. It's called a leg lace, and they're basically crossing your shins. And if somebody locks it up tight, it's basically match over. Like it's just so hard to get out of. And so they'll just take you over 4 times, and that's it. That's match can go 15 seconds. You could wrestle a guy that's really good, and you just get a takedown and you just catch him, and then that's it. So it's just it holds people accountable, and it's kind of a cool role that they have.
Got it. So you're sort of like forcing you just get into such a good position that you can score a bunch of times right in a row.
Yeah, it's like if you cross,
them,
I shoot, I get in.
Yeah.
They end up on the mat, and then I drop down to the legs, and you cross their ankles, and you just kind of hold their ankles crossed, so their shins are pressed against their calf.
Yeah.
Right. And they're squirming, they can't really get out.
Got it.
And you just kind of gator roll through.
Can you show us an example of that? Can you? Is this match over?
This match is over. I can pull up. I can just pull up a basic leg lace.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll pull up a match. Actually, these guys run my weight.
How much time do you watch? How much time do you spend watching wrestling? Not for your own
matches, but just
not for your own matches. Not studying opponents, but like watching wrestling in general outside for entertainment purposes.
Yeah. For entertainment and also just to learn, right? Like you could just this sport is it's constantly evolving. It's a constantly evolving sport.
Mm-hmm. So
you can learn so much just from watching other people. I like to go back and watch matches from 1940s, 1950s. You just pick up on moves that people were doing even back then, and maybe like you won't see them nowadays. And there's so much to learn in this sport. When you think you know it all, there's like 100 other things that you can still pick up on.
Do you find any particular approach that you have to learning that it kind of makes you, that sort of separates you from other people, or are you guys all sort of looking at the same materials? And how are you learning so much? Basically, I guess is my question.
Yeah. Going back to the film question, film is probably one of the best ways for you to learn. Individual work, working with the right coaches. That's part of the reason I go to Colorado Springs a lot, is they have a coach out there who's just been on the field for a long period of time, and he just has a lot of knowledge to bring. So he's able to teach me a lot of new things, kind of pick up on positions, sees what I need to work on. Something that USA Wrestling does that's really cool is after each World Championships, they'll have a whole team go and review all of the matches and pull up statistics on all of the matches, see what the highest scoring takedown was, what the second highest scoring takedown was, most common positions, kind of like what happens when a guy's got short time to score, and kind of the trends of like a guy's going full defense mode and now he's getting scored on because that's all he's focused on. And so that's something that they do that's really cool, and they'll have a camp kind of every year, a couple camps where they're kind of breaking down those positions, and I was able to attend those this year, given that I had that experience in Colorado Springs. That was kind of pretty cool.
Really, everything you're doing is coming directly from competition. It seems like.
Yeah.
And you're is there this concept of instructionals for wrestling? Are you sitting there watching like some coach present like techniques on video or something? Or are you just always extracting from like match footage?
Usually, it's a mixture of both, but you usually don't extract from actual video. I mean, it depends. Usually, I have the ability to go access those coaches in person. But for example, that coach that I work with, he does this little video thing where he every Wednesday, I think he records a little technique and then he'll post it on his Instagram or whatever. And that allows other people to kind of pick up on new moves and learn from him. For me, I just train with him, and then whatever I pick up from watching film and stuff like that is what I learn.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that I want to touch on that
Mhm.
I think the jiu-jitsu people listening could benefit from. And
Mhm.
we've spoken now to a few different really, really high level competitors.
Mhm.
And one of the common threads is, yes, you look at video of your opponents, but
Mhm.
not too much, because you
Yeah.
don't want to get so focused on what they're doing.
Mhm.
You still want to play your game, but you
Mhm.
do have to have some basic understanding of where the match, might go.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is, it seems like really, really high performers are ones who they're students of the game.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about
Yeah.
this. For those of you who don't know, I coached Aden when he was 11 years old.
Yep. Hockey. Yeah.
On the ice.
Mhm.
And, we talk a lot. I talk a lot in hockey and also in jiu-jitsu about like just being a student of the game
Yeah.
and learning from, people that, came way, way before us. And you mentioned the 1940s and 50s. Like,
Yeah.
I would say that is rare amongst kids your age.
Yeah.
Now I say kids, you're a man now.
Yeah.
About I think it's rare. I think it's rare in general for people to look that far back.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool that you've truly embraced being a student of the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, there's just so much to learn out there. You can never learn enough.
Yeah.
Never learn enough.
Yeah.
If you weren't competing at such a high level right now,
Mhm.
I guess maybe it's hard to answer this question, but would you still be following that same approach of learning, just like studying? Is that the common way that people are learning wrestling? I guess, is everybody out there studying film?
Yeah. If anything, more film. If you're not at that level, right? Like, if you're not at that level, that means there's more to learn, and that comes from watching a lot of film and stuff like that. Something I've just added to my repertoire, it's actually became one of my main attacks, is something that I noticed the guy in my weight that was doing. The guy that won that tournament, he hits this attack where he kind of reaches to the back of the neck. It's called a collar tie, and it's like a snap, but he pulls it in kind of a lateral way that gets him to post, and then that leg opens up. And that's just something I was like, I picked up on. I was like, that clearly works. That's something I should try. I've been working with it, playing with it, kind of got it down, and I've been scoring a lot with it in practice. And that's just a perfect example of, you watch film and you kind of figure out what you like and what you don't. And you can add things to your repertoire that, you really like and that you might use, and that works really well for you. So.
Yeah, so you're just seeing people do these things in
Yeah.
competition. You're like, oh, that looks like I could work on that.
Mhm.
And then you just go to the gym and try to replicate that. And
Exactly,
are you talking to your coaches about it? You're like, hey, I saw this thing. Are they
Yeah.
helping you with it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll screen record the video, and then I'll, show my coach, and I'll be like, I like this. Let's break this down. Let's work on it. Let's try it. And then I'll, rep it out until I kind of got a good feel for it. Try it in a spar situation, and then try it in like a full 100% live situation. And then, I kind of see how I like it, and I'm like, okay, we're going to add that to our list of tools.
Right.
Got
And
it.
I have a follow-up question there. In jiu-jitsu, we have, obviously there's like a belt system. And so
Yeah.
you can really easily, so like So we want to add a new technique
Mhm.
to your arsenal, right? Find the technique, you decide, you rep it out, you just drill it.
Mhm.
And then in like a live roll situation,
Mhm.
you know, you could go up against a white belt or a blue belt and just like do it against somebody who isn't at your level,
Yeah.
and then purple and then brown, and then try to do it
Yeah.
against people who are better than you, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like from a wrestling perspective? It's not quite that clear cut, is it?
It's not that quite clear cut, but you know, you have the guys in the room that you know are your, you know,
Yeah.
white belts,
Uh-huh.
blue belts, you know, black belts.
Right.
And so like for me, maybe I'll go against the guy that's a little bit smaller and not as skilled, and I'll try it on him.
Mhm.
And then I'll try it on different guys until it's working on the very best guys. Sometimes, and this is a little bit unique, is you won't get that same feel that you'd get from a really good guy.
Mhm.
Maybe when I pull him, he just hits the mat and he doesn't come back up because he doesn't know how to react properly to that.
Mhm.
So that's why it's good to try it on everybody until you kind of see how it works, who it works against. And then, you know, from there kind of be like, yeah, I want to keep using this or not.
Okay.
And kind of going back to even before you get to that point of like trying it on different people, you say you're getting your reps in. What does that look like? Do you have like one drilling partner? Are you drilling it with multiple people? Like,
yeah, so I have like, you know, a list of guys that I work with. You know, it's quite a big room, so I usually take guys that are around my size, and those are my drill partners, and I change every day, so I get different feels. You know, maybe I go with a guy that's a little bit longer, gives a more unorthodox feel. A guy that's a little bit shorter, kind of stubby, harder to move. Strong guy, you know, different feels, and then just kind of practicing doing it over and over again. You know, reps. I think that's what reps was the word I used.
yeah.
Kind of practice makes perfect. So,
So you're-
kind of refining it, you know.
Right. So you're purposefully seeking out people whose like body types would take you out of like the comfort zone, sort of.
Yeah.
You're trying to find all these different feels.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Exactly.
I struggle with that myself because like when I'm doing jujitsu, I have like my favorite drilling partners and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
100%. I'm the same way. I'm the
Yeah.
same way. I got a couple guys and I'm like, you know, if I could just train with him every day, that would feel like it would be the easiest feel for me. He moves when I want it, where I want him to move, and the way I want him to move. It makes it easier to drill. But you know, you need those feels that are different because, quite
Yeah.
frankly, you're competing against all kinds of different humans and different feels and
Yeah.
you know, shapes and sizes. So you kind of got to be ready for everything,
Yeah.
know how to react,
That
how
sounds-
everything reacts. And
Yeah.
It sounds like you're being very intentional about that. And
Yeah.
That's something that I think most jujitsu people do not do.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe during like live rolls, yes, but drills,
Yeah.
not as much.
Yeah.
Because as Josh said, we do find our favorite drilling partners and tend to gravitate toward those people and
Mm-hmm.
stick with them regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lately, like I was injured recently, but came back drilling like the past few days and stuff, and I was trying to like I have to force myself to sort of drill with people who purposefully the feel is weird. So I was doing that like yesterday with a kid at open mat. I'm like, this isn't how I want him to react, but I want to find the answer to this weird way that he's reacting to like what I'm trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Let's see this thing.
This leg lace. Yeah.
Yeah.
So guy on the right. This was.
Can you full screen it? real quick?
Yeah. This guy just became a world champ. After this was like the qualification.
Okay.
Which guy?
Guy in the blue.
Okay.
Vito. His name is
Vito.
Vito Ruggio.
Okay.
Became a world champ. He's an NCAA champ as well. Guy in the yellow never won NCAA title, but perhaps the most notorious college wrestler ever. One of the most notorious. Just like mean, brutal, Iowa style, pokes your eyes.
Yeah.
I actually wrestled him in the first match of this tournament. He does this thing where he'll grab onto you and he's like just like digging his nails in your armpit. So I came off the mat and my armpits were just covered in blood just from him squeezing so hard.
Okay.
So yeah.
We'll just kind of Iowa style.
Iowa style, yeah.
Iowa style. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll just kind of see, you know, these guys are very equally matched, and that leg lace coming into play right here. He scores a takedown, you know, locks up those legs,
Okay.
and then that's just it. Can't do anything about it.
Oh.
You know, he's trying to fight it, but it's hard to defend. He's trying to pull that arm pull that arm out.
Is it every time he touches his back to the ground?
Yeah,
He's getting
every
2
time
points?
he breaks 90 degrees, that's
Okay.
that's 2 points.
Dang.
So 2 equally matched guys, and this is what I'm talking about, holding you accountable. They can end like that if you're not locked in, ready to go. It keeps you, again, holds you accountable.
Yeah.
Right.
Very cool.